Been publicized in the Nutley Sun on Twitter. In compliance with Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, entitled Open Public Meeting Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as specified in the Act. Proper notice of this public meeting was provided in the notice. Said notice was posted at the entrance of the Board of Education office, mailed to the Nutley Sun, the Star Ledger, the North Journal Herald News, and the Nutley Journal, mailed to the Nutley Township Clerk, advertised in the Nutley Sun, posted on the district website. This is an official meeting. Stand up and salute the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Mr. Booth.
Here.
Mrs. Dancheck Martin?
Here.
Mr. Ferraro?
Here.
Mr. Klein?
Here.
Mr. Riley?
Here.
Ms. Russo?
Here.
Mr. Scalera?
Here.
Mr. Sposato?
Here.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Here. Correspondence none, correct? Mr. Leslie.
Thank you, Mr. Kaczynski. Again, we have these meetings once a month. A number of things have happened in between. Just an update to the board again, students who do not pass one or both parts of the HESPA from last year are required to continue and fulfill that HESPA cycle through the end of 2014. Those assessments took place October 7th through the 9th. Makeups were given the following week and have to wait for results. Students who again did not pass one or both of those sections will have to continue testing in March, which will be the last time we actually issue a HESPA. Changing graduation requirements, I briefed on this, and we are actually having a public session through our communications action team for parents and community members who are interested in the changes to graduation requirements. But the DOE has said for a long time that, at least in the short term, the park assessments would not be requirements for graduation, and they issued their chart as to what those graduation requirements will be moving forward. That being said, park has already become, for the classes of 2016, 17, and 18, one of the ways that students can demonstrate proficiency and as far as the state is concerned, be approved for graduation. While it is true that it's not the only way of passing, it really has already taken, in many ways, the exact spot that the HESPA held previously. So I said we'll be having a session on that to inform community members, parents, and of course students as to what these changes actually mean. Ready Step assessment, I briefed on this a bit, but just again showing the public in the effort to better understand how our students are doing, specifically be able to predict what needs to happen for their instruction. We're actually issuing College Board's Ready Step assessment, which is really a precursor to the PSAT, giving us, students and parents, solid information on how students are performing on that type of assessment long before they have to sit for the PSAT and the SAT, so that we have time to continually improve. And it's something offered by College Board, and the nice thing about it is that we're paying for it. And all the parents and students who take it have free access then for the rest of their high school career to College Board's My Road website, which it's really a futures planning tool, which includes not just college but career, infinite number of resources, and a way for students to understand exactly where they are, map out where they want to be, and see what they have to do in the interim. So by doing this, we're actually providing our 9th grade students and their parents an extra resource that goes not just within the district but beyond. I want to thank the Nutley Rotary. On the 1st of October, since our last meeting, Mr. Kaczynski, Mr. Carnicella, Mr. Ferraro, Ms. Russo, Mr. Scalera, Dr. Villani, Ms. Jamens, and I were in attendance with all of our administrators and our new teachers, and it really is it's a wonderful tradition that's been going on for, they argued over this, 54 years? So over 50 years we've been welcoming new teachers to Nutley. As I said at the evening, I'm not aware of any other district that does something like that, and really does let the teachers know that this is a community, that the community cares about the schools, and that the schools are seen as really a critical component of the larger community. And it's a wonderful evening. I want to thank Mr. Billio. The following day, we had our college and career fair. There were over 150 college representatives there. The building started off actually a little slower than it has in the past, but then it was packed by midway. I was there for a bit. All of our guidance counselors, especially from high school and middle school, just playing a critical role in getting kids information about their futures before it's too late to do something about that. And it's a wonderful thing. Continuing with the college planning though, there are two more nights of information coming up. The first is that the guidance counselors have put together a college information night, college planning night. They have a panel of college admissions counselors coming to discuss what colleges and universities look for specifically. It's open to all students and parents. We have representatives from a number of universities and colleges, local, going out as far as George Washington University, University of Scranton, University of Delaware. We have Montclair State here, Fairleigh Dickinson, as well as Stanley Patterson, a number of Fordham University, a number of colleges and universities from Manhattan. But a nice cross-section of the kinds of options that are available to students beyond 12th grade. So you can really ask questions, see what they're looking for, and know if this is what you have in mind for your future, this is what you need to do to accomplish it. So again, we're trying to make sure that people have their eyes open and have all the information ahead of time so they can make solid decisions and plan for a successful future. That's tomorrow night, 7 o'clock in the high school auditorium. The following week, a week from that, Tuesday the 28th, we're having our second annual advanced placement meeting. It's open. We encourage all students and parents to come. It certainly focuses on students and parents who are either currently in advanced placement classes or planning to be in. But one of the reasons we've been doing this is we've, again, tried to get people information. If they're looking to do certain things, accomplish certain things beyond high school, you need to start thinking even before high school. So we're encouraging all of our community members to come out and engage in the conversation that Mr. Williams and his staff will be running. We've been working on this as part of not just our K-12 guidance work, but our communications action team as well as our strategic plan. Over the past 3 years, just to reiterate a presentation from last year, we've increased the number of students who are taking advanced placement classes, so increasing the rigor, and our scores have gone up for 3 consecutive years. So we want to keep that moving and get more people involved. I want to thank Ms. Casilli. She was invited with a lot of the work that she's doing as our SAC to Vermont High School to facilitate a program called Our Kids Are Dying. High school students were invited to attend with either a parent and or guardian and to discuss the issues that are facing, the life issues that are facing our high school age students and the reality of a lot of those issues that need to be made, again, aware, people need to be made aware of so that we can address them and acknowledge that they're there. This coincided with our Week of Respect. Yes, it's mandated by the state as part of, in a way, in combination with our anti-bullying legislation, but all the different things that were going on at the elementary, middle, high school level were shared with the board. Our goal, again, with Mr. Capello and all of our counselors and student assistance coordinators, to make sure that kids understand that they have support and they can make conscientious decisions to reach out for help at any level. They need to know who to go to, what the signs are if they actually need help, and that there are people here who care and can assist. I'm happy to say we finally kicked off our ESL Bilingual Parent Advisory Group. On Wednesday, October 8th, we had a handful of parents present at the meeting to review the program, enrollment, screening processes, as well as gain information on testing and screening. And again, our goal with these pieces coming out of our strategic plan is to get information out to the community so people understand all the different things that are going on in the district and how they can help. I think Lincoln School is here, yes? Mr. Stell? Hi, Mr. Stell. I just raised Mr. Stell, Dr. Belani, Mrs. McGuarty, and I jumped in with our 6th grade teachers for a day, and I want to thank them for braving the weather at Fairview Lakes Camp. It's a wonderful thing that we do every year. A lot of work, and again, the teachers take on a great deal of extra work to make it happen, but I absolutely think it's critical. A number of our teachers I see sitting here, and they brave the elements and nature, and it really, you talk to the kids about the experience that they have, and it's not something that we can just create here in Nutley, and it's not something you can learn watching a YouTube video or reading a book. You really have to get out there. And so for at least 2 days and 2 nights, the kids are out there experiencing, for many of them, something that's completely different. Just want to thank all the staff for our October 10th Professional Day and remind people that on November 4th is Election Day. We are closed to students, open as a full day for staff, and we'll be using that for professional development as well. Homecoming. Congrats to the alumni, the community, certainly the administrators, faculty, and staff, the parents, and our students. We were there the whole day. I want to congratulate Dr. Villani, who was our Grand Marshal, and go in our parade. The football team posted a significant win over Livingston, moving in 4-2, as well as our music department, and specifically our marching band. They competed down in Rutgers in the morning, got in a bus, got back here for halftime, competed or presented at halftime, a wonderful show, and then left here after that and headed out to Mount Olive High School to compete for a 3rd time. Placing first in the first competition and second in the second competition, losing out to first place by 0.8 of a point. So just congratulations to them. They have 2 competitions left. I know Mr. Riley's here. Please convey to Mr. Morales, I already have, you've seen my emails. Just we're very proud of what he does and certainly what the entire department, Mr. Vicarello is here, right? Well, how you doing? All the work that our staff is doing, the color guard, all those students, it really is so exciting to see it all come together on the field. So congratulations to them, and just another example of how we're creating experiences that are so much more than just purely academic. Re-registration. We had somewhat, again to the board, flatline with the community member parents who have been availing themselves as asked of the online system. As you know, I sent out that reminder quoting policy, and according to Mr. Viemeister, it gave us a little bit of a jolt in the arm. So hopefully we're getting more in there, sitting down with principals, we start going through the data and moving, as we discussed in our ad hoc committee, that piece forward. Again, for the board, Mrs. Alessio, Mrs. Spoto, Mrs. Mara, Mr. Levine, and Mr. Viemeister did a tremendous job getting all of our state reporting in early and with no errors, which is a first. We've never had all 5 sections clean, and so this was a nice step forward for us. Strategic plan moving forward, just recommend you look brief and see all the action teams are moving as appropriate. Technology, we had our first meeting with our testing coordinator, our principals at the secondary level, and our technology folks to make sure that we are prepared not just to give kids the best shot of succeeding in the park by providing the most effective testing environment, but to minimize, based on our schedule and the use of devices, minimize the impact on instruction and instructional time. Upcoming dates, as I mentioned before, our AP night is next Tuesday, the 21st. Election day, we're closed, and teachers' convention as well, that week, 6th and 7th. Elementary parent-teacher conferences are coming up, and we can talk more about those at a later date. But again, just Mr. Krasinski, a great deal going on in 4 short weeks.
We see that all around, so thank you, Russ. I forgot to call for the approval of the minutes. Can I have approval of the minutes for the September 22nd meeting, please? Motion. Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Karen?
The finance section on tonight's agenda is a rather lengthy one. This time of the year, we do have a lot of activity going on, but I'd like to just highlight some of the resolutions as well as some things that have been going on in district. The board is going to be approving the final payments to the contractors for the Lincoln School security entrance and the high school fire door project. We received all the closing documents and the certificates of occupancy. These projects were funded with the proceeds from the 2007 referendum bonds. All of the work on the bleachers and the high school roof have been completed, and we are currently working on the closing documents as well as some related back charges to the contractors. And on tonight's agenda, there is a partial payment to NEIE for the bleachers as well as the final change order for the roof for some additional sheathing. The final section of the Lincoln School parking lot paving is also on tonight's agenda. And also I'd like to announce that the playground area at Radcliffe School will be resurfaced on November 6th and 7th. We recently put out a bid for trash removal services. We did receive 2 bids. The bids, however, exceeded our budget. In the meantime, the township has also approached the district with a shared services opportunity. This shared services agreement will save the district a considerable amount of money for trash removal over the next 5 years. So on this evening's agenda is a resolution to reject the bids, and we will be moving forward with the shared services agreement. I'm presently reviewing the agreement along with the board's attorney. Finance resolution number 19 is a rather lengthy resolution, but it has to do with the requirement from the SEC. Basically, the SEC believes that municipalities have not been complying with continuing disclosure undertakings for bonds that they go out for. So they have put together an initiative to allow municipal governments to be able to get up to speed with making this reporting. And it is with respect to any bonds that were issued within the last 5 years. You have to conduct a disclosure audit. And based on the results of the audit, the resolution is going to authorize a submission by the district on one or more of the bonds that were issued to the SEC initiative, if appropriate. And the resolution also authorizes the district to hire a firm to perform the disclosure audit. Basically, the short version is that this is a requirement that we must comply with. So our financial advisor is prepared to start the audit. They worked with us to refinance our 2003 and 2005 bonds back in 2012 and 13. So they're very familiar with our outstanding debt obligations. Their fee for the initial disclosure is $150 an hour, not to exceed $1,000. And then services for ongoing annual disclosures will be at a rate of $500 at the time that the services are required each year. As part of the professional day on October 10th, we kicked off the morning with presentations on our flexible spending accounts, Horizon medical plans, and the announcement of a new optional health plan, as well as an employee portal that's been provided by our benefits consultants on that agency. Every staff member has received their own individual login and password to access the portal. And it's basically a one-stop shopping for all the information related to employee benefits and also some additional health-related information. So we're very excited to finally have one platform where everybody can go to find the information they're looking for. We've also uploaded all of the open enrollment applications and forms that need to be filed. And that announcement was made on Friday via email to all staff members. We've already received several inquiries from staff, and so we've been replying to their inquiries, and the deadline for open enrollment changes to be filed in our office is November the 14th. We recently provided an on-site flu shot clinic at each of our schools with Rite Aid Pharmacy here in Nutley. I received some great feedback from staff for making the opportunity available to everyone, and I'd like to thank Ms. Jasenia Gomez for making all of those arrangements. She is also currently working with Horizon and IMAC for an on-site health screening to be conducted on November 24th for all staff members, and it will be here in the auditorium at the middle school. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Mr. Moreno?
Good evening, everyone. Consistent with what Mr. Lazowick just referred to a few minutes ago about creating opportunities for our students outside or beyond the scope of our academics, I'm here tonight to present to you the accomplishments of a wonderful Nutley High student who has distinguished herself at the state level by gaining acceptance into the New Jersey State All-State Chorus presented by New Jersey Jazz Educators. So student Allison Lantini will perform 2 times at the state level, once at the state convention for teachers, the Thursday of teachers convention. So she'll travel down the Tuesday before, participate in all-day rehearsals for 2 days, present that concert at a gala event that evening, and then the following week we'll also participate in a concert at the New Jersey Pack Center. So again, it's a great example of our students going outside the district and bringing notoriety to our district at the state level. So I'd like to present Allison Lantini.
On behalf of the Board of Education, I'd like to offer to you the Certificate of Excellence and honor you for your award, and congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So exciting for us, and our music department is really great. And are you in choir?
I'm in concert choir at Nutley High School. Yes, and I sing for Jazz Lab with the direction of Mr. Maiello.
That's great. Congratulations. We look forward to hearing you
Thank
perform.
you.
Thank you very much.
Terrific job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're Whereas the Board of Education will be discussing matters exempt from public discussion pursuant to NJSA 10-4-12. Now therefore be resolved, the Board of Education recess to close executive session at this time to discuss personnel. Be it further resolved that the results of this discussion will be made public by inclusion on the agenda of the subsequent meeting of the Board of Education, or when the reason for discussing such matters in closed session no longer exists. Need a motion?
Motion to go into closed?
Second. All in favor? We will not be too long, folks. I will try to keep that promise. We're taking longer than we thought we would, but we are nine very. Hello. Hello. Again, I apologize for being longer than we planned. We are nine very opinionated people, and sometimes it takes a lot of passionate about our profession. Right now, we'll have committee reports. Ms. Dan. Oh, I gotta go.
Motion.
Second.
Aye.
Mr. Russo.
Ms. Dan,
Thank you, Mr. President.
Mrs. Zelinski, excuse me.
we went back into open.
Resolution to go back into open. Fred Scalera and seconded by Mr. Robinson.
Ms. Dan.
The academic committee met on Tuesday, October 14th. Mr. Lazovic spoke to the committee members about the current enrollment numbers in the elementary schools. Mr. Materia presented to the committee the results of the 2014 language survey. Surveys were distributed to students, parents, and teachers for grades 6 through 12. Results were fairly similar over the past 3 years, with American Sign Language as a top choice among students. Mr. Materia also discussed to committee members the need to continue to look to enhance our elementary program. The high school survey for the Nutley Youth Survey is scheduled to be administered October 28th. To date, we've received 277 rejection slips. After the survey is administered, the data will be collected and be presented to the committee. Dr. Villani spoke with committee members about the upcoming Saturday fall conferences at Columbia University. We also discussed internship placements and also field trips. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Solero.
Thank you, Mr. Nassar. Thank you, Mr. Kuczynski. The Administrative Committee met October 14th. The discussion was technology update by Mr. Viemeister, Mr. Levine. There's an update to the committee that included upcoming communications, management devices, electronic signature, and the park readiness. Under an athletic update, Mr. Pyro presented the committee on injury prevention, study hall, spring schedules. We had a crew update and about his upcoming budget. Under CUSAC, the district will be evaluated through the CUSAC's process this year. The finance will be reviewed by the Essex County Business Administrator. Academics will be reviewed by the Union County Chief Academic Officer. And the governance and personnel will be reviewed by the Monmouth County Superintendent. This evaluation will begin in November and continue through each office still complete. There's not a defined timeline. The Monmouth County Superintendent is in the process of approving the goals, also recommended to the board. I just want to clarify that since Mr. Zarro is the Essex County Superintendent, there is a conflict of interest, so different counties had to, their superintendents had to work on doing the review.
We actually received approval from the office today.
Oh, great. So we got approval today. So that's the meeting. Sorry. Thanks, Mr. Lazovic. Personnel recommendations for hire. The committee reviewed recommendations to hire and shared it with the full board in preparation of October 20th agenda. Leaves based on lack of notice from certain employees, upcoming leave replacements had to begin prior to the approval, and they are on our agenda tonight for approval. Under nursing, for the upcoming grade 6 camping trip, no district nurses or nurse subs were able or willing to attend, and the board approved the contract for a nurse to attend the trip and meet the requirements. School population updates, Mr. Lazovic reviewed the current student population information and made decisions for housing and shifting the population of students. Legal update, the committee reviewed the pending legal cases, and also policies and personnel agenda are included on our agenda tonight. And the next meeting is Tuesday, November 17th. Thank you.
And, Mr. Spezzano.
Okay, Finance Committee met October 14th, myself, Dan Conicella, Sal Ferraro. Mrs. Deemans touched on just about everything on my report here today. She was with us. We did speak with Mr. Nicolette. Mr. Nicoletti gave us an update, the county reported. We reviewed the project revenues for 2015-2016 budget. We discussed the resolutions of finance on tonight's agenda. We also discussed some of our upcoming shared service agreements. I know she mentioned the trash removal, purchase of garbage containers, negotiation for potential bus parking lot, purchasing a tarp to place along the fence at the Oval for the winter months to prevent salt from hitting our new bleachers. She touched on it. We discussed the professional day for benefits with the open enrollment. And pretty much that's it. Our next meeting date is Tuesday, November 11th, and that's it.
What was there a resolution about buying a tarp?
No, we discussed looking into what it would be, what type of a, whether a tarp or what we would do to prevent salt from,
And there was some discussion about putting some type of a barrier there. That'd be a great idea.
something we removed.
Thank you. Any other committee reports? We now come to the portion of our meeting where we allow members of the public to address the board. In this section, we allow questions or comments on only the resolutions addressed in tonight's agenda. Our board regulation will allow 20 minutes for these communications. Each person should be limited to 3 minutes, and we ask you to try to stay within this requirement. Speakers may speak more than once only after all of them wishing to speak on a topic have been heard. All statements will be directed to me as the chairperson. No one may address board members individually. Please be reminded that if your statement is too lengthy, personally directed, abusive, obscene, irrelevant, or redundant, your participation may be terminated. Please remember to always state your name and address each and every time you address the board. Will the first person come forward, please?
Ralph Chimento, 74 Mapes Avenue. I'm here today to address the board. I'm not here to complain about the teachers or the salaries or your spending in this board. What I am here to complain about,
Excuse me, one second. Just so you understand, is there a resolution that you want to discuss at this time? If not, you'll have time after we go through the resolutions to talk about anything in
I
general.
thought you said it was open.
It is, it's open on resolution items that are, you'll get your chance.
I'll get my chance.
Thank you. Hearing none, Ms. Dancheck, will you take academic, please?
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to move academic resolutions 1 through 3 as written.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Carnasella?
Yes.
Mrs. Dancheck Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Ferraro?
Yes.
Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Ms. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Scalera?
Yes.
Mr. Spezzano?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes. Mr. Scalera, take administration, please.
Yes, Mr. Kaczynski, I'd like to move administrative resolutions 1 through 6 as written.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Carnasella?
Yes.
Mrs. Dancheck Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Ferraro?
Yes.
Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Ms. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Scalera?
Yes.
Mr. Spezzano?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes. Mr. Spezzano, finance, please.
Yes, Mr. President, I can move finance resolutions 1 through 26 as written.
Discussion?
I just would like to comment on number 18. We have our shared services agreement with the Township of Nutley for fiber optic cable. We're going to make a notation of one of our shared services that we are doing. So it's a step forward for us.
Yes. Personnel personnel resolution, Mr.
No, we got
I'm sorry. Too fast. Roll call.
Mr. Carnicello?
Yes.
Mrs. Stanchak Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Ferraro?
Yes.
Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes, I'd like to also say, as adjunct to that, about 8 years ago, I want to give former board member, Mr. Garatola, credit, because he really got the ball rolling with the joining of the joint services for fiber optics in this municipality, and he worked with the commissioners back then, and it's finally come to fruition, so I thank him for that.
Frank?
Ms. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Scalera?
Yes.
Mr. Sposato?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes. Mr. Klein, will you take personnel resolution, please?
Yes, Mr. President, I move personnel resolution 1 as written. Second.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Carnicello?
Yes, except to see line 5 for the administrative assistant position.
Mrs. Stanchak Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Ferraro?
Yes, except to section C, line 4, administrative assistant.
Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Oh, yes.
Ms. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Scalera?
Yes.
Mrs. Sposato?
Yes, except for C5, Assistant Administration.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes. We now come to the section where we allow for comments on all school-related matters. Our regulations allow 30 minutes for each communications. Again, each person should be limited to 3 minutes. We ask you to try to stay within this requirement. As I stated earlier, all statements will be directed to me. At this time, Mr. Chimento, you can come forward.
All right. I wasn't paying attention, I just heard.
That's no problem. All right, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, my name, my address, all that, okay. Yeah, like I said, I'm not here to complain about the spending, the teachers, anything. What I'm here to complain about is the implementation of the Singapore math. I have a 4th grade child, okay, who should be, if you go by Singapore standards, on beginning step 7. So she's missed step 1 through 6 from grade kindergarten. So how do you expect these children to have missed from grade K through 6 to catch up in 4th grade, okay? So I'm going to stick with what I said. I realize this is a part of the Common Core curriculum. I feel that it should have been implemented with the incoming 1st graders. This is just my opinion. The children in the upper grades have been blindsided and cheated with the learning process. Was any thought process put into this implementation of this program? Also, like I said, Singapore started in grade kindergarten, and there's 12 parts to the process, 2 per grade. It's very successful there because it's taught from such a young level. Okay, you know, and now I'm also going to stick up with the teachers. The teachers have been blindsided with this. Okay, they're teaching a curriculum that most of them are not familiar with. Okay, and they're probably inadequately trained to teach this. All right, so they're also learning as they go in this process. So, you know, to me, it's like, I understand it's got to be implemented. Maybe it's better. Maybe it's part of the core curriculum. But maybe we should have started it with the younger grades and worked into this process instead of just blindsided. I can hand you 4th grade Singapore math, and I bet you some of you would have problems doing this. There's no way I can help at home with my kid. I got to send it into school and ask the teacher for extra help. All right, so, you know, this is my point here, that the whole thing is just frustration. That, you know, my kids got to come home frustrated, confused. All right, it's nothing that they've learned in the past, and now we're just throwing it at them, and we're throwing it at the teachers. And for some reason, it's not an easy concept for them to grasp. All right, so that's just one thing that I have to talk about.
Let's try to get you some answers for that one thing. Mr. Lindsay.
Well, I don't know most of my answers. I totally understand what you're saying. It's completely different from what we were doing before. I can tell you that we went through a process to select how we would be teaching math moving forward. It was teacher-driven. Our teachers, I was surprised that we had 50 people, teachers, administrators, parents, members of the board, sit down for 5 or 6, I would say at least, different presentations on seriousness when it was selected. Once it was selected, there was conversation about how we should roll it out, whether we should stagger it, we go complete into it, we start the early grades and age up. I will tell you that the thinking behind it was that what we were learning from our existing math instruction was that we were not pointing kids in a solid direction. If you look at our math scores, as kids age up, scores go down dramatically for the district, and we wanted to address that immediately. And so one of the comments was, we need to shift, and we realized it was going to be a learning process for the teachers, for the students, for the parents as well. We try to offer parent evenings, and Miss Martin, who's our math coordinator, try to set more of those up this year. It's a huge change for myself, for everyone. We were not taught that yet. That being said, feedback from our students overall, we sat for the sample park test last year, which are going to be something that unfortunately they are going to sit for real this year. Feedback from the students across the elementary buildings, shared by the principals, was that the kids said, actually, this is very much what we're doing. And if we had been able to do it earlier, that would have been terrific. And yes, it probably feels like an annual return. But I can tell you from what I've seen from it, I was not taught this way, but also from our math folks, it is a better way. It's just we have to live through the transition. But I understand your frustration.
We're cheating kids out of 6 parts of the process, and you're expecting them to pick it up in 4th and 5th grade, which is not realistic. So they're not they're either getting it thrown right at them, like, just boom, here we go, we're moving with the hardwood on the mountain. Or they're not learning it properly, or they're just, the kids that aren't getting it, maybe you spoke to kids who are getting it, but the kids who aren't getting it are having severe difficulties with it. And is there anything we can do here in this district to fix this, to rectify it moving forward? Is there any extra help going to be available to these kids?
Well, last year we actually provided extra help. We'd look to do that again. Sessions in every building with teachers per grade level. It was short-lived last year. It's only the second half of the year. Being in year 2, I know the teachers are more, again, everyone was uncomfortable.
Because obviously, in the United States, we think we can pick things up in 4th and 5th grade, where Singapore, where it's successful, starts in kindergarten. So we're already, running behind. The other thing I want to talk about is the college fair. I don't know who's in charge of scheduling the college fair and sporting events and everything else, but how do you have a college fair on the night when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? You have 7 events going on with your athletes. 7 events, and you have a college fair. And I'm not talking just football and soccer and boys soccer and girls soccer and volleyball and the band and the cheerleaders and so on. I mean, right there was a lack of communication, and it shouldn't have been scheduled on a night where maybe the event should have been scheduled on a night when there was so much going on. Just that's all I gotta say. Just a little frustration building up that I'm not happy with. But I'm useless at home teaching my kids Singapore math. So when she goes in school, I want to hear the teacher help her and not say, go here for extra help. Okay, because I'm not getting paid to teach them. The teachers are getting paid to teach them. So if she's coming home not understanding it, then she's not being taught, or she's not understanding the way it's being taught. So that's all I'd like to say. And if I give you, like I said, if I give you these 4th grade problems here, I guarantee you it's going to take the guys on this board a few minutes to figure it out. And when we stop teaching the basic things like cursive writing and balancing a checkbook, and now we're teaching for the park test. All you hear about is the park test and this test and that test. All right, we're not, the things that they're going to use in life, it seems the most common things you use in life, we're just straying away from. But that's all I have to say. I don't. It's just that I don't agree with the way this was implemented. That's my opinion, and I'm entitled to that. And I think that it should have been done at the lower grades. That's all.
Anyone else wishing to be heard this evening?
Diane Bolton, 53 Lakeside Drive, Nutley, CPAC. Just a quick comment about our new Director of Special Services, Nicole Hyde. I met Nicole at my son's IEP meeting, and I really liked her. She's knowledgeable, extremely data-driven, which is definitely a plus. and child-centered and fiscally mindful. I think she's a great asset to our district, and I hope she stays.
Terry Clark, 45 Hampton Place, spokesperson for the Nutley Parent Advocacy Network. I have to second that because I've had a couple of conversations, well, actually not conversations, but emails with her, and she's very quick to answer. I've been sending her some emails just to kind of make her aware of things that I know about. And she's not judgmental, she wants to know, she really wants to be able to resolve things. So I'm very, very excited about that. And we're hoping that, you know, we're gonna move forward and things are gonna be better. Thank you.
We have hope.
That's great, we do also.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Separately, while we mostly focus on the concerns of our parents, I just would like to take a moment to acknowledge one of our teachers, Carrie Ferrara. Ms. Ferrara has proven to be one of those rare educators who actually makes an effort to be connected to our children. I've experienced this firsthand as Carrie reached out to me the first week of school to introduce herself and to tell me something nice that my daughter had experienced. Carrie also called to find out what her interests were and what motivates her to learn. Quite frankly, I was in shock. My daughter has been in Nutley since kindergarten, and sadly, this has never happened before. I mean, when do they ever point out something good, right? You know, she just calls to say hello. She calls me almost every week just to check in and check on Mackenzie. I really am in awe of Carrie. She's a committed educator and someone who cares. And it's just amazing to actually find somebody like that and to, I guess, let everybody know that there are great teachers here. That's all.
I just have one little story I'd like to tell you. Last month, I went to the zoning board meeting, and I went with a couple of other people. And that was in regards to the project for Kingsland and Passaic. And after the project, after the zoning board meeting was done, I went out with a couple of other people, and we were standing outside, and we had some questions about what the attorney, Mr. DiBiase, and what Mr. Mecca were talking about. So we wanted to verify some information, so we went to see them. They were right outside, and they were very nice, and they went on to tell us about their feelings about that particular project, which is okay. And, you know, our feelings were how this was going to impact the schools, because this is important to us. Anyway, in the conversation, Mr. DiBiase and Mr. Mecca go on to say that they had, an impromptu tour, self-guided tour, that's what they said, of Yannicott School, or not so much the school, but the trailers outside. And I have to be honest with you, the first thing I did was like, I almost cringed, and I hope I didn't cringe outwardly, but I did cringe inwardly, because the first thing I'm thinking of is in terms of, you know, there were kids there, and, you know, they thought it was okay to kind of go into the trailers, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, did they ask Mr. Lazovic, did Mrs. Corolla know about this? I don't know if any of that was true, but that's the first thing that went through my head. So they went on to say how appalled they were about the trailers and how they wish they could fix things. And, okay, I understand that. And then they went on to say, too, that they had offered this board an addition to Yannicott and to Washington School. That's what they said. And they didn't just say it to me, it was two other townspeople were there. So I was a little confused, and I didn't say anything. Again, I don't know these two gentlemen, so I didn't want to appear, you know, nasty or anything. But I just found that interesting, because that's nothing that's ever been discussed here. And I know that you sometimes talk about things that are discussed, and you bring that to the table. So I just wanted you to know that that was an information that was discussed, not just with me, but with two other townspeople, and I don't know how else it is. But again, the safety factor too, like if people are on school grounds, I think some people get confused when they hear about public school. They think it's open to the public, and it's really not ever open to the public. It's just open to staff and children and parents and guardians and whoever has business there. So I just wanted to share that.
But and just so you know, Mr. Kaczynski has just come down to represent us at that meeting now. It's going on it now, actually.
All right, good, thank you.
Anyone else like to come before the board this evening? If not, old business?
I just wanted to, of course, kind of piggyback off of Terry and Diane, the parent advocacy group, we met on Thursday night, the 16th. Went over the purpose, reiterated the purpose of the PAD, also went over the results of the parent survey, and discussed the inclusion of the common core. And then following that, Nicole Hyatt released an additional survey to the parents to find out how we can increase participation. So she's definitely on board with the transparency and trying to get information out.
Great, thank you, that's great to hear. Anything else on old business? Any new business to become before the board this evening? If not, whereas the Board of Education will discuss matters exempt from the public discussion pursuant to NJSA 10:4-12. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education recess to close the executive session at this time to discuss student matters. Be it further resolved that the results of discussion will be made public by inclusion on the agenda of the subsequent meeting of the Board of Education, or when the reasons for discussing such matters in closed session no longer exist. Ask for a motion. Second, all in favor? Aye. Thank you. Executive session.